So the pencil tool in Illustrator is a pretty useful tool. It allows you to draw basically the same sort of shapes that you draw with the pen tool, a path, by simply drawing. So to get access to the pencil tool, you can type N on your keyboard, or you can come to the menu here, pencil tool, and it comes with two other tools as well, the smooth tool and the path eraser tool. So I went ahead and just tore this off. Don't need two copies, but make a little tear off tab because I go back to this pretty often. So let's say you had a drawing or a sketch that you've done and you want to just create a line drawing really quickly using the pencil tool. So right now I have this layer locked. I'm going to call this image. Make a new layer, and I'll call this line. And the way the pencil tool works is you simply draw. So I'm using a Wacom tablet and I'm drawing. When I'm done, it creates this shape. Now you can see right now it simply creates lines, creates lines, creates lines. Go ahead and undo all of that. I typically like to not use a fill at all when I'm using the pencil tool. And you'll notice right now I can make a really wiggly line and it pretty well follows what I'm doing. When you open Illustrator, it may have different settings, so I've just double clicked on the pencil tool. And now I can play around with tolerance. And you've got fidelity. Right now it's set to 1. Let's see what happens if we put that up to something like 5. Hit OK. So now I'm making a little wiggly tool. It's sticking to it. But you notice if I draw, it makes it very smooth. And there's just sort of a correction to it. There, I did a little wavy line quickly. So the faster you draw, it'll correct it. It does what it thinks you want it to do, based on that fidelity setting. But if you have this set down really low and draw a wavy line quickly, it'll actually keep that wavy line. So I'm going to simply begin to trace this sketch. And I'm trying to be careful that my lines are touching. Okay. Now as you're drawing, I'm going to intentionally make a mistake here. Oh, I went way out of the line. What can I do? Well, you can hold down Command on your keyboard, or Control if you're on a PC. Just select that line, and because Edit Selected Paths is checked right now, I can actually draw over that and correct it. So if I start here, draw down, let go, it'll fix that path. I'm going to put that back in there. So notice if I were to just come here and click down, it does fix it. But if I start out here and click down, it's actually going to draw a new line. So you do have to be careful that you're drawing on the path and ending on the path where you want it to end. So we'll put that there. And now maybe I'll start here and draw the next one. Now see what happened at this point is it actually, because this line is selected, it continued that line out. So depending on whether your line is selected or not, it will do different things. Okay, so I'm going to say I'm happy with that. And I'm going to hold down, a trick to deselect it is just to hold down Command and click on the background. So you'll notice I'm being very careful to try and make sure all my lines are connecting. In other words, I don't want to stop a line there and have this gap. And that'll come into play, unless that's part of your illustrative style. But that'll come into play a little later when we use things like the Live Paint tool. So I'm going to go ahead and try to make that connect, connect. Like so. And so I would continue to do this until my entire drawing is finished, drawing my little crumbs. So notice right now I'm drawing my little crumbs and it didn't close the shape. Well, let's say I want that closed. I can highlight this, trace it around, and then let go. I can continue editing this if I would like to. If you find yourself doing a lot of this work, you can actually double click this and say keep selected. And now, when I'm done, it automatically stays selected so that I can trace. But then I have to click off of it. So it just depends on your workflow and how you would like to do it. When you're using the pencil tool, let's say you had a really wavy line and you liked it, but you wanted to smooth it out. Well, you can use the smooth tool for that. What the smooth tool does, you just draw an arc along this, and it tries to make a smoothness out of that. And you can change how much smoothness it's giving. You can turn that up a lot. And now it's really going to smooth the line out quite a bit. And I'm just making quick sweeping arcs. So if I were to do that with this top line, it might take a little bit, but I can clean that line up a little bit, and it's actually removing points. So I have less points in my line to describe that shape. The eraser tool does just what you think it might do. If I have a line selected and I begin erasing here, it's going to erase that point. If I want to erase the end of a line, I can simply draw over it or erase it completely. But it does have to be selected. So I'm command clicking on it and selecting it. And this is especially useful when you've done something like, let's say you're drawing on the cake, and let's say one of these lines using the pencil tool extended out too far. It's really hard to correct that. I can come back in with my pencil tool and try to stop early, but that doesn't make the line change. So really the only way to get rid of that is to either edit with your points, or the easier way is to use the eraser, the erase paths tool, and it'll just erase that point up to where you would like to erase it, and you can make more adjustments. So just a quick overview of the eraser tool, the pencil tool in Illustrator.